Debt is the root of all evil. Never be in debt. Now don't get me wrong, it is not bad advice for most people, especially if you take on debt to support your lifestyle, something you will have to pay from your own savings and income. It is called bad debt. But more on that later. It is also true that if you are drowning in debt, it becomes very difficult to come out of it. No one lends for free. The debt you owe comes with an interest component that does not wait for you. Despite all of this, every major economy in the world is in debt. Literally all of them. Guess what? So does every major corporation, and most medium-sized businesses too. In the US alone, the total consumer debt is over $15 trillion. That's a trillion with a T. This brings the average household debt in the US to over $5,300. So, the question becomes, is debt really all that bad? The answer is, well, complicated. We have seen how debt can be bad, and we have been advised by everybody from our parents to our teachers to stay away from debt. Debt isn't all that bad. The reason we are told to stay away from debt is that most people lack the financial education and the discipline needed to use debt to create wealth. The rich know how to use debt to their advantage. They understand what creates debt and how it affects taxation. In this video, we will find out the 5 ways how rich use debt to create wealth. Now, before we begin, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Also, turn on the notifications so you never miss an update. Debt is considered bad because most people have bad debts. By definition, bad debt would be something that has to be paid from an individual's own savings or income. Another way to understand that would be, if you take debt to spend on a liability like a home for yourself or a car, that would be bad debt. The product you purchased does not generate any income for you, hence it is not an asset. You still have to pay back for it, and that, my friends, becomes bad debt. The rich use debt to buy income-generating assets. They use the income from the assets to pay off the debt and the interest, essentially creating an asset for themselves by using other people's money. Smart. Debt can be a very powerful tool if you know how to use it. Method 1. Borrowing. Most of the money in any economy is essentially credit. The moment you create credit, you simultaneously create debt. Think about it. Your credit is someone else's debt. Businesses use debt to purchase raw materials or processing tools to process the said raw materials for a client. Especially large businesses that allow their clients to buy on credit themselves take debt from someone else, primarily banks. This way, debt is used to fix the working capital issue and deliver products to the clients to be later sold to retail clients. This allows businesses to build a name for themselves and also onboard more clients. Method 2. Refinancing. Real estate debt is the best kind of debt if you know how to play the game. If you have a mortgage, you get tax deductions on that. Rich people always have multiple mortgages. This is how the game is played. Let's say you save $200,000. Now that's a lot of money, but in the context of a house, not even close. But you can get a mortgage of $800,000 on that, as you only need a down payment of 20%. Now, let's say you find a property that is worth $500,000 but is in a bad condition. You head to the bank and get a mortgage by putting 20%, let's say $100,000. Let's say additional 10% or $50,000 will be your cost of renovation and repairs. You now head to the bank again to refinance your mortgage. When you got your first mortgage, the value of the property was just $500,000. But now, after you have renovated and fixed the property, the value has gone up and people want to buy it. The market value now rises to $700,000. Like the first time, you can again go to the bank and get an 80% mortgage. 80% of $700,000 is $560,000. Out of this number, $400,000 will go to the first bank, another $50,000 in repairs. This will leave you with a profit of $110,000. That money is entirely created using debt. The best part, you are left with a property that will keep appreciating in value over time. On top of that, you get all the associated tax breaks. This is a brilliant way of using debt to generate wealth. Now, go down in the comment section and tell me, is debt really bad? Method 3. Hedge funds. Hedge funds are created to make the rich even richer. and they manage to do so by using unpopular strategies. You and I, the common people, will spend time analyzing which companies have the potential to grow, and we invest our money in companies we believe will give us a good return over a sustained period of time. Hedge funds apply a totally opposite strategy. They make money when companies fall or go bankrupt. But where does debt come into all of this? Let's say you expect a certain stock to decline due to some new government regulation. You call your broker, and from him you buy a single stock of the company for, let's say, $100. You sell that stock in the market instantly and make $100 cash. Now you have $100 in your pocket. But you still owe your broker one stock. And now, as predicted, the value of the stock drops, let's say to $70. You will now buy the stock for $70 and give it to your broker, pocketing the difference of $30 as a profit. Now that sounds pretty easy, but in reality it is a very complicated and risky process and can easily backfire. You can easily land in trouble if the prediction goes wrong, and then not only do you have to buy the stock at an inflated price, you also have to pay the interest component to your broker. Method 4. Forex or foreign exchange trading. Forex market is a market where currencies are traded. It makes international trade possible. You cannot use the US dollar in India, for example. You need the INR or the Indian rupees to do so. Now, there is a market where anyone or any company can come in and purchase foreign currency. The value of these currencies, however, fluctuates based on different factors. For example, if the US Federal Reserve raises the interest rates, that will limit the supply of dollars in the market. This will make the dollar stronger in comparison to other currencies. The success in the forex market depends on your ability to predict the rise and fall of currencies. Debt can be used in this market with a multiple of 10. So, theoretically, if you use $1 of your own, you can borrow an additional $100. If you extrapolate from that data, if you use $1,000 of your own, you can hold a position for $100,000. Even a 10% profit in that nets you $10,000. Wealth entirely created from debt. Method 5 and the final method is credit score. As we have discussed thus far in this video, debt is a very powerful tool in the right hands. And we also know that every single business owner, entrepreneur, and company uses debt to create opportunities for themselves. Borrowing money to finance purchase orders or buying more stock is a practice followed by pretty much every major enterprise. So, don't think that debt is all that bad. Of course, as I told you before, debt that has very high interest rate like credit card debt or debt that has to be paid from income or saving is bad debt. If you want to get a loan at a lower interest rate, you have to be likable to the bank. The risk of loaning money to you has to be minimal. How do you do that? You do that by building a track record of being a reliable borrower. Banks are waiting for someone to take a loan from them. Banks are filled with enormous cash piles. And even if they didn't have any cash, they can basically create money from thin air. So, these are the 5 ways the rich use debt to create wealth for themselves. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a like. Take care of yourself and your families. God bless us all. Thank you.